Western Region Startup Subcommittee. And welcome Vikram and Kirti. And in a minute, I will leave it to the two of you to, Vikram, to introduce yourself, and Kirti. Just thought I'll tell our audience that the Startup Buzz session happens every Thursday, 5 p.m. You can actually set your watch, and we do everything to do with startups, from meeting folks who are startup founders to finance master classes and so on and so forth. So please do join in every Thursday. And before I hand it over to you, Vikram and Kirti, just want to let our audience know that we are going to take a brief Christmas break, and we'll be back on 8th Jan for our next session. So do keep a lookout for our next flyer, on social for our next session. But, on that note, Vikram and Kirti, over to you both.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Ravi. So, yeah, good evening, folks. Welcome to yet another exciting edition of CII Western Region Startup Bus Series. My name is Vikram Karvi, your moderator for today. I'm the CEO of a public relations firm called Bloomingdale PR, and we work with a lot of startups. And I'm really glad that I got this opportunity to speak to Kirti today. So, I'm very delighted to be here with all of you, especially for a theme that's both timely and deeply impactful: building an AI startup that people actually love. So, as AI continues to evolve at a lightning speed, what truly sets an AI startup apart isn't just its algorithms or models, it's how people really trust, adopt, or emotionally connect with what it creates. And there is no better one to talk or walk us through this. Uh, and we have an amazing guest for that today, Kirti Punia, co-founder of Chimera, an AI tool already working with giants like H&M and Steve Madden, helping them generate high-performing visual content. Kirti's journey is inspiring. She was an engineer who dreamed of working in fashion, to leading Okai, empowering about 30,000 plus artisans, to now building cutting edge AI that resonates with global fashion brands. She's an UN award winner, Google's Google for Startup alumnus, and featured in Vogue Business 100 Innovators list as well. Kirti, thank you for joining us today. Let's dive in what it takes to build AI startups people actually love.
Thank you so much, Vikram, for that introduction. Hi, everyone. I can already see a lot of questions coming in the chat, but I think to your first question of really building a company that people love, I feel like in 2026, you cannot pay yourself into growth. You cannot run an ad and acquire customers at the rate that you could 5 years or 6 years ago. So they have to love your product to be able to create organic momentum for you in your initial months. We launched in March and we have 15,000 user signups already
Mm,
without any actual paid ads. This has happened because world over, there were people who were watching us build it for the last 1 year, and they knew the quality of images, they knew the quality of content. So when it launched, it created that initial momentum. And I think because we were pretty early on in this race of AI, there was also a shock factor that, oh my God, this is an AI model. And that fact that she's holding my product or wearing my product had a little bit of, I want to share this tool with my friends. Um, and finally, I think to be really loved, you have to evolve really at the speed of light in AI. If you're like
mhm,
sitting for a week, things have changed and your tool has not, you're
mm.
you're done.
Yeah, truly. Yeah, so we take this first question from the audience itself. And, you know, there's a question that says many AI startups are technology first. How important is user empathy when building an AI driven solution? Very important for today.
So, we once were about to pitch to a really large client and
Mm.
like biggest beauty business in the world. And, the first thing that the marketing team said was, if your tool looks ugly, don't even show it to me. I don't want to log in. So, while that was a harsh word to use, ugly tool, but in today's world, if your tool is not intuitive, right,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
it's not something that, I already know my left panel is usually all the features, right, and which we've been trained to do because we use Google Meet and we use Gmail. If you're having to retrain users and not thinking about what they already know, just because you want to design it a certain way, that is eliminating empathy from the process of building a new product.
Hmm.
So I think keep in mind, what do users already know and how far this is from that. Is every button an intuitive next click? And in how many processes would they be able to achieve the end result? Um, so I think that is from a tech and a product perspective. But I'd like to highlight that hiring is such a big part of this, which
Hmm.
is who will build your product, right?
Yeah.
And as a part of somebody who is in the AI photography and video space, it's a creative AI product. And if the people within the company are not creative and they don't
Hmm.
understand taste and aesthetics, then they will never be able to build a product that'll appeal to an international audience and appeal to an audience that actually thinks what looks good is something only they know, and that's the fashion industry.
Right.
So we've been actually hiring with a very different methodology,
Hmm.
which actually during the process of elimination tests all of these attributes of the people who will eventually build and support the product.
Hmm. Right. Uh, so you spoke about empathy. Now let me come to the main subject, that's love. What does it truly mean today for users to love an AI product? Is it about trust, convenience, and delight? Or is there a deeper emotional need that most founders miss?
So I think support is pretty undervalued because there are plenty of products in the market, but
Hmm.
today the large population still doesn't know how to generate AI prompts or create the right prompts.
Hmm.
Um, when a tool comes in and then provides you educational support,
Hmm.
provides you support on your first generation, that delight
Hmm.
that they taught me, they held my hand,
Hmm. Hmm.
is extremely important. And that goes a long, long way. So, if, for example, on the app, on the Chimera app, there's a button called chat
Hmm.
with us. And everyone thinks that it's AI bots, but it's actually real humans there, right?
Hmm.
Um, and they just assume that why will an AI company have people sitting
Humans.
and helping us on our images? Um, they're almost shocked. And so we had to prove to them, we had to put their photos in the email and put their photos up and saying, this is Namrata, this is Ashutosh, and you will be talking to them. I think that that has really created a lot of love for the product.
Mhm.
And the users actually know people who are their customer success managers, and really taking them through this pre-AI world to a post-AI world.
Hmm. So have you seen users respond emotionally to camera in ways that actually surprised you? Could you give some examples, or even one example would be fine?
So I think it's been a lot of people who will run either an agency that has made a lot of revenue because they're using Chimera. And before that, they were, say, not existent or not employed and were able to
Hmm.
start a business because they started using the tool.
Hmm.
And so we've seen the most kind of love coming in from users like that because a year ago or even 6 months ago or even now, actually, generating an image can be quite time consuming. Um, if you use anything that's, like just off the rack. But if you use Chimera, you can produce like the same image much faster. So for agencies, the most important metric is how fast could I get the work done? And then how did I price that image? Um, so I remember, I think, receiving this really emotional message from the founder of that agency on how it's grown 10x in the last few months and, not
Hmm.
even years. And I think that just feels so great that there are others who are creating companies out of the product you've built.
Right. You spoke about having real humans behind camera, but tell me, uh, can AI ever replicate the emotional intelligence that is needed to create beloved products, or does it always need a human layer on top?
I think it's getting there really fast. So I will not say that it will not get there. Um, a year ago, you could not have very deep expressions from an AI face.
Hmm,
And already seeing very deep expression, sorrow, um, it might not be as consistent what it'll be in another 6 months. Now, let's say, will it react with empathy?
hmm,
Will it? So, what is empathy really, right? It's a set of rules that
hmm,
put yourself in the viewer's place. And
hmm,
AI can very well be taught to feel that because it already knows what you might be feeling.
hmm.
So I would say yes, AI will be able to. Is it 100% there today? No. I think that it's still not as empathetic, but it will be.
Okay. So if you're advising an early stage AI founder, how should they go about getting their first 100 users to not just try, but love their product?
So I would actually encourage not getting the first 100 through your friends.
Okay.
Because we all tend to know enough
Yeah.
100 people. And, I could have just gone to so many of my friends that I knew, but I
Hmm,
chose market in which we were not even present. And so we were mainly US and Europe first, right? We launched in that market first. And all of our India traffic is completely organic, maybe through LinkedIn and Instagram. So we launched in the US first and knew nobody, absolutely zero. And at that time, I think what we were trying to do was post really shocking content
hmm,
and through that get our first set of eyeballs, either through LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter.
hmm,
And I think 100 might be like, I'll be so honest that there was a lot of word of mouth because we were not even able to track how this traffic came suddenly. It just, even today, we are seeing it come direct through the
hmm,
website, and there
hmm.
is a lot of offline education that is happening. We noticed there were some educators who were doing AI workshops. So when there is a gold rush, sell shovels. So we realized that there were a lot of people who were teaching AI tools,
Okay.
and we didn't even approach them. This is just the tool they found was the most useful, and they started conducting large workshops where they were
Okay.
teaching Chimera. And
Wow.
without any commercial obligation, they just found it to be the strongest tool, and that's the tool they wanted to teach.
Hmm.
And you cannot replicate that. But I would say if somebody was launching today, tying up with people who are educating people on using AI is a great way to get your first 100.
Yeah. Very interesting point. So, uh, consumers want convenience, but also today they worry about their data. How can a AI startup build trust from the day one without slowing down experimentation and innovation?
I think a lot of people are definitely scared of the fact that will their images be used for AI training.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
we used to see that a lot last year. I think writing that upfront in your terms and conditions that your uploaded images are safe and that they will not be used for any training. Those images will not be going into any open source models for training. I think those declarations in terms and conditions is very, very important. Nobody reads terms and conditions, but they should while logging into apps. I think that's communicating that upfront is the most important thing to do.
Right. Today, every second startup slaps on the AI powered tag. Even the most registered domains today have AI at the end. In
Yeah.
your view, what really separates a meaningful AI product from just another buzzword laden one?
So I went to buy a washing machine recently and it said AI Bubbles. It's a very popular company, very big company, you know the names. Um, and I was just like, as a customer who wouldn't even be working in AI, knew that AI bubbles means nothing, you know. And it just means like something logical that if you have more foam, it's going to ask you for more water, right? Uh, so I think not slapping on existing products, that clearly seems like it's a marketing eyewash. Whereas really deeply solving a use case where I had heavy manual labor and now you're able to solve it through AI. So say I love those website making companies where you just like enter your brand book and it actually makes an entire website for you. That's completely AI first. In case of Chimera, makes an entire video for you, so the editing is eliminated and AI is doing the editing. I think that where it eliminates great human sort of hours
Mm,
of labor, that
mm,
is true AI.
correct. So, what's the single biggest mindset shift a founder must make to move from MVP, that's minimal viable product, to a LOVP, that's loved by users product?
Hmm. So I think, uh, often churn is a very important metric that a lot of people just ignore because the growth is there and you keep
Mhm,
getting new users, and
mm,
new users are obviously going to come because everyone's curious.
mm,
But a lot of the companies don't measure churn very
mm,
properly. And a lot of the time, especially in an experimental technology, there might be new users coming in, but they're coming in and paying you 1 month of retainer and not coming back in. And that's, in this domain pretty low, like $15 is a starting app cost. Uh, so it's not that hard. So I think churn is one of the most important metrics to look at.
mm.
How many are sticking with you? And if your churn is above average, then you must look at converting that.
Right. Oh, I mean, agree. Lot forget about users lost. They just focus on to get new users, and that's where the money is. So that's really makes a very valid point. Coming to Indian users uniquely telling us about how they want AI to fit into their lives. Any surprising behaviors or use cases that stood out?
So I think a lot of people say that in India, people don't want to pay for technology or don't want to pay for apps. Um, I'm seeing a mixed pattern. There is a large percentage that wants a free tool, but there is this new wave of educated customers that has, benefited from using Shopify, Unicommerce, and has seen product versus trying to build your own website. And those companies are actually pretty open to paid tools.
Hmm,
That's my only observation that you cannot write off India.
hmm,
I know many global products that actually only run India ads when they want users versus revenue. Um, so everyone has pretty much, keeps feeling that they can write off India, but that's not true now when it comes to technology.
Okay. So, what should today's AI startup founders upgrade themselves in terms of skills, mindset, or workflows to build a truly AI native company?
I think that AI founder must be pretty upgraded because they're building an AI, right? Like,
AI.
yeah. So I think that they've got the tech of the biggest upgrade
So,
that they
tech, yes. What about other things?
I think, a sharp understanding of what is it that humans enjoy doing
Oh,
and what is it that humans don't enjoy doing, right?
yeah.
So, um, for example, a photo shoot, right? We're fully aware that it is a culture. People love
Hmm,
going for a photo shoot, right?
hmm, hmm,
Uh, it's their day off from work. They go on set, they meet each other, they have lunch there. It's a full day of hard work, but they love doing that. So there will be a group of people who will love a real photo shoot. And then there'll be a group of people who understand the planning, execution, costs are humongous. So understanding of people is still the core of
Hmm.
everything, right?
True.
And then if you know that there is a set of people who value these things about your photo shoot, and that these are the pain points, you can pitch your product in the correct manner.
Right. But just aligned to that, Shivani Kokadi asked this question: How does customer feedback influence products pivots or feature decisions? So, listening to the customer, yes. So, does that influence pivots or feature decisions?
Absolutely. I think it does influence it, but you have to take a call on your own because every call I get into, so can we also do this? Can we also do this? Is just like the almost like the whole call, right?
Mhm.
Um, and it's so hard because you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna have this customer if I have this feature.
Hmm.
But you have limited bandwidth and you have a direction to take. So um, we decided with the help of a market sizing assessment.
Hmm.
Uh, so is that feature large enough to generate a revenue for me, right?
Hmm.
So we actually just built out a feature called garment extraction, where you upload like your current photo right now, and it can make a ghost image of the shirt you're wearing.
Hmm.
So, uh, initially when it came in, we were just like, why, would people want to extract that shirt from this image? But actually, it's
Hmm.
a very big design use case where
Hmm.
people go to fashion shows, they
The clip pictures.
and they take pictures and they take pictures of somebody shopping in a shopping mall, and then they come back and fashion designers will render that by hand,
Hmm.
right? And then they'll pitch it to their boss. The boss will say that change this about it, but it's a long process, right? But
Hmm.
now I can be sitting at home. I can take that picture right from the Instagram of the shot of the fashion show. I can extract the garment and build it out. So I think the sheer value of that use case was so high. The revenue potential is the main decider.
Right. Mangesh is asking, how can we promote our AI product organically as people are tired, exhausted of seeing AI generated videos and pictures? How can we stand out from the rest of them?
By creating AI videos that don't look like AI.
Interesting. Yeah. Uh, Again, Shivani comes up with another question. She says, for someone starting an AI startup today, what should they focus on in the first 90 days? I think this is a very important question. What should be the first 90 days look like?
I think it's very easy to build a very raw app using AI these days, right? You can build a product just using AI coding.
Yeah.
Um, the 90 days, often 90 days used to be just build, but
Hmm.
now 1, 2 weeks can be your build. Then you
Hmm.
launch it, you try to get at least 10 users to use it, right? And they should be unknown to you. They should not
Hmm.
have any obligation to use the tool. And with that, you iterate. Um, I have a opinion, and this is how we started, is that we started with large companies
Good.
because large companies love to innovate with you.
Hmm.
And so uh, companies like H&M were teaching us what a good image looks like, right?
Hmm.
And that was like free consulting from the largest photo generator of the world,
Hmm.
right? Um, so I feel like building with a enterprise that is very good intent of adopting AI, and that might be your first customer in a few months if your POC is successful, is a great way to get a paying customer who is interested in building with you.
Great. And what comes first, data, model, or user experience?
User experience. Models are replaceable. One
Hmm.
comes, the other goes.
And what's the one metric that AI startups should track very, very closely?
Revenue.
Of course, yes.
I track revenue in my sleep. I track revenue in the morning. I just track revenue. But I would say, like I said before, churn, your cost of acquisition, because, we've in the AI world, we've had a lot of startups who've gone to like 20 million in 20 days, right?
Hmm.
I really want to know that the old way of building companies was a very long cycle, but that cycle allowed you to get enough feedback from a customer to improve on the product.
Hmm,
So um, I'm not too sure of, is that 20 days enough time to even sort of iterate on the product itself.
hmm,
So I feel like that should be the first 90 days is really iterate on the product, the UI, and get your first. I don't think you should get 100 also. You can get 50 also, but one large enterprise client.
right. And when do you think founders should continue to stick with their vision versus pivot based on the feedback that they receive from any courts, investors, users? Tricky one for you.
It's so hard. It's really the hardest thing. And I'll be
Hmm,
honest, while um, in pre-AI world, it has been easier because we had an expected reality for
hmm,
everything. You launch a discount, you will get more sales. Uh, AI is quite a different world altogether, and you are making very big bets. I think there are considerable number of 10 to 15 startups who started with us and already shut down. So they made
hmm,
different bets. Some made AI image generation bets for social media. Some
hmm,
made AI image generation bets for small Amazon vendors.
hmm,
We made a different bet, right? We went to large companies. And now we're obviously trickling down to smaller users as well, because now
hmm.
anyone can go to Chimera and actually buy a $15 plan. Um, it is very hard, but I think you have to hold up to your bets and you have to take the decision fast.
Hmm.
Prolonging the decision in today's world will just result in death.
Yeah, right. And how important is your proprietary data for building a defensible AI startup?
Extremely important for you to build anything which will solve a real problem. So, if you are a therapist, then you have
Hmm,
data on therapy for hundreds of years, or if you're an astrologer, you have data on astrology. You need to be an expert on the matter and you need to have enough data to train it, fine tune it for one use case.
hmm.
Because otherwise, you'll have a generic tool that solves no one's problem
Yeah,
fully.
correct.
So proprietary data is important. Is access to that data hard? Um, I would say access is not hard. You can buy that data. The hardest decision is what to take and what not to take.
Hmm, hmm,
So we trained our model on proprietary fashion data. So
hmm,
we were buying fashion images. We were
hmm.
actually paying brands to buy their old photo shoots.
Okay.
And everyone was ready,
Hmm,
but did not want to take some which did
hmm,
not look like, say, high-end photo shoots. And if we would have bought those, our product would not be what it is today.
hmm. So the choosing is critical here. What you need to feed is becomes very important.
Correct.
Tell me, build versus buy. How should startups decide when using existing tools? Should
If
they build it? Yeah.
if they would have built any tool 1 year ago, it would be obsolete today. So
Ah,
please do not build any tools yet.
hmm,
The time to build will come 5 years later when things would have stabilized.
right.
Right? Right now, every week there's a new AI model. You possibly inside a brand cannot have, or any company cannot have the AI talent AI companies have. And so we are ourselves replacing and reinventing so much. Your tool will be obsolete in no time.
Interesting. There's a question from Mangesh. He says, how did you market in European region considering the language spectrum across the countries?
We wrote emails in French.
Okay,
And with AI, like I also replied in French. And
nice.
we've had customers who were like buying a very large, like $1,500 plan, but they don't want to come on the call because she says that my English is not very good. And I said, mine is also not very good. I speak Hindi. I was like, let's chat, you know. So But we've had a lot of people from that. I think the English language has not been that much of a challenge. The one thing I'll talk about the two markets is that US is more meritocratic.
Hmm,
Uh, if you're the best tool, you will win, right? So they will not take any second or third tool just because it's
hmm.
slightly cheaper. They will pay
Yeah.
more and take the best tool.
Hmm,
Uh, the European market is a little bit more word of mouth, and I know this person, and they are recommending that tool to me. And so
hmm,
we had actually made a lot of friends around Europe who were influential, and we were the first company with such imagery. So we have a very strong base of people who can speak for us and lobby for us.
hmm,
But it was a very slow process. It seemed like a waste of time at that time that I was just chatting and making friends with people who were in the AI community. But they also became big eventually in few months because some image they made went viral. Some video they made on us went viral on TikTok. But it was not from the intention of I will make this friend in Spain and their content might go viral, you know?
hmm.
I think it's about how do you gain from the community if you give to the community,
Correct.
you know? At that time, even for AI creators, it was very challenging to generate $1 used to be one click,
Hmm,
right? So actually, Google was supporting us, and we were also supporting some of these influencers. So the community was also kind of growing, and they could also generate for free, which also is so important
hmm.
to build that sort of ecosystem.
There is a very interesting question coming from Shivani. She's talking about pricing. How do you price AI products when users don't understand the tech value?
You price it in comparison to real product, right? So, for example, the garment extraction tool right now, if you had to go and take a ghost shot of the shirt he's wearing, it would be about $50. So, if somebody is like acting like a studio and doing a full shot, it can easily be $25 and they will buy it because it's
Hmm,
50% cheaper. If you're selling it as a technology and they have to apply their manpower, then how long is it taking them? Can they do 20 images in 10 minutes?
hmm,
Right. What is the cost of their manpower plus the cost of technology, if whatever is the per hour rate, should be equal to the outcome of your report
right.
or image or video. If it's more than that, the pricing will fail.
Hmm, right. We haven't spoken about ethics and how can we not? So, some founders would say that we'll worry about ethics later. In your experience, is responsible AI a luxury or a competitive advantage even in the early stage of a startup?
From day one, we've inculcated it. I think we came from a background in sustainable fashion. Before this, our app was actually a resale app called Relove. I've worked in sustainability all my life. So
Hmm,
I think it was only natural that we would inculcate it from day one. Not a single person's name is allowed to be prompted within the company. So you can't name an actor in any of the prompts. You cannot name a stylist, a photographer. You absolutely cannot take any of those names,
hmm,
any people. You will not produce the likeness of any human. And I think what happens is when you practice this on a daily basis, those ethics also become a part of your company. You know,
hmm,
if your company is not asking you as an employee, if your company is not asking you to do anything unethical, you also start becoming an ethical person on a daily basis. All of the data we sourced was either rights free or purchased, and
yeah,
it has to be from day one. You can't do it later.
correct. So, how do you bridge the gap between technical and business teams? You know, they work differently.
So my co-founder, Pratik, um, I think he handles everything tech and I handle everything marketing and
The-
business development. And I'm literally like listening to clients on call. We made it a practice to actually, all of our calls are transcribed and the data from what users want is churned into a report that goes to the tech team.
Okay.
Some of the calls where we are actually listening to these users and they're asking us that why is my video, like this, or why is this happening, the entire calls are shared with them to watch,
Mhm.
because without that they cannot build empathy
Mm.
for the end consumer. And sometimes the tech team also sort of will come in and hear verbatim if there's a feedback that'll be shared as well.
Right.
Ideally, I think everyone from the tech team should actually sit on like support once a month.
Mm.
If they don't, then they'll never feel the pain.
Yeah, true. Of course, they have their own, but understanding consumer also becomes important. Uh, and there is another point. How should founders communicate their AI story to investors without hype?
Um, I think pretty challenging in India as it's something that's pretty new, and I don't know in India. Uh, it's a very different India story when it comes to AI than what it is globally. Um, I think in India, they're looking at traction. Like if you have good numbers, it's easy to prove that you have a product and you have loving customers. I don't think that the metrics are that different from AI versus non-AI.
Mm.
It will be kind of similar from an ice cream company to an AI company. I would say, like the way people look at things. Um, I would just say that is there value in building that product in terms of someone is willing to pay for it, and is it for the Indian market? And are you clear on is it for the international market? Because there are a
Mm.
lot of AI tools now being built for the international market from India.
Right. How important is traction versus technology debt during fundraising?
Traction. Tech to
Traction
sabke
is more.
paas hai.
You must be getting this also a lot of time. As a woman leader in AI and tech, what's unique lens do you bring when it comes to designing more humane, inclusive, and loved AI products?
Think communicating the AI product, right?
Mm.
Uh, with your users. So if you just look at the colors of the product as well, it has a very aesthetic color. I think this little fawn and white, because we are selling to creatives.
Mm.
And lots of these creatives actually will not buy a black neon purple tool because they're working in a very like fashionable environment.
No.
uh, it might sound really trivial that I have selected that color, but it makes them feel less intimidated by AI as
Mm.
opposed to like a very like, you know, black and white tool that comes to them, which is mostly all AI tools
Yeah.
are
Wow.
black.
I would see the pink AI too.
Yeah. So I think as customers in marketing are mainly women, actually,
Okay.
uh, in fashion. I
Mm.
don't know about other industries, but my customers are mainly women.
Mm. Right. If you had to bet on the next wave of AI startups that users will truly love, what patterns or opportunities do you see emerging?
I see a huge opportunity in early education. It's a very risky space.
Mm.
Like, for example, a bot for talking to a toddler, right? And
Mm.
teaching a toddler English, right? But it's a very risky thing. Parents will not give a toddler any unknown AI product to talk to. But I do see like education is a very big scope, and the right
Mm.
product there can really help refine education, especially in our country,
Mm.
where a lot of places like education has not changed, and parents are forced to send them to like certain schools, and then I think it's not easily available.
Mm.
So I do feel education is a great space.
Yeah, and we do hope that we see a lot more products coming in the AI space from the education perspective. That's the future, I believe.
Yes.
So, Kirti, thank you so much for your time and such heartfelt, practical insights. I would have continued asking you, questions for 1 more hour, but I think we have to end somewhere. So, uh, you know, your journey from fashion to AI, from artisans to algorithms, is not just inspiring; it's a masterclass in building with empathy, ethics, and user obsession. To everyone who joined us today, thank you for being a part of this important conversation. May you build, mentor, or support AI startups that people don't just use but truly love. A quick reminder, startup bus sessions happen every Thursday at 5 p.m. However, we'll be taking a short break for Christmas and the New Year. So, season's greetings to you all. Our next session will be on 8 January 2026 at 5 p.m. We look forward to seeing you in the new year with more exciting stories, insights, inspiring and inspiration from the startup world. Innovate, inspire, and lead. Ravi, over to you. If there is none, sir, would love
No,
to hear
the
from you.
Ravi has actually left. He had a session, another session. So we
Okay,
can close. So thank you everyone for joining
thank you so
the
much.
session. I'll thank
Thank you,
Vikram
Kirti.
and Kirti, yes, for this wonderful session.
Thank
Yes,
you.
loved interacting with Kirti. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Thank you. All right. Bye.
Bye, bye, bye.